So London is one of the major hubs for global music to be showcased on a world stage. Um, and we have a relationship with the UK for a very long time, 100 years, I would say. So there is a sizable Indian population which uh, likes our music, one. But then the intention has always been to cater to the world music festivals that happen in UK. So right from the first year that I started performing on stage in India with my band, I always believed that my music deserves to be heard around the world. And that conviction urged me to save money, put my own finances behind, getting a management in UK, getting a tour manager, getting a booking agent, and then started to explore some of the festivals in UK. Initially, we started the small festival, and then we did extremely well. By 2012, we had performed in Glastonbury. We had performed on later with Jules Holland on BBC London. I was invited to perform for the Queen of England at Windsor Castle for her 60th year of commemoration as the Queen of England. And we were kind of darlings of so many British festivals, you know. And I was awarded Best Newcomer award by Songlines magazine in 2011. And the same year, I also won the Best Live Act by the UK Asian Music Awards. So a lot of beautiful things aligned for us over the years, and of course, only just before COVID and through COVID, scene has changed so much, and then quite a bit of the festivals that I used to perform have shut down now because of whatever lack of funds and stuff like that. Like for example, even Wooma at Glasgow, which was supposed to happen on the 4th of July after playing in London, got called off 2 days ago. So, uh, but having said that, it's almost like a yearly pilgrimage for me. That whether there are enough shows or not, enough money or not, uh, I still want to go and perform in UK for sure as a summer tour. Uh, so this year we've got this one big gig to perform at South Asian Sounds Festival, which is over the years become like a landmark festival to showcase South Asian music uh, from this huge part of the continent, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the entire South Asia comes together there. And mainly it has been artists from within UK, but over the years it has also grown to start inviting artists from India and Pakistan and everywhere else. So yeah, it's a great festival with a lot of beautiful audiences to perform at. And Queen Elizabeth Hall has been kind of my personal favorite. We have performed there 3, 4 times already, and every time it has been like a full house gig. So hopefully this year also we'll start we'll start to believe that UK still wants us. uh, there used to be a festival called Alchemy, or I don't know if it still happens, but we have performed at Alchemy twice. Uh, and those were our initial years, and yet we had full house performances for a completely uh, alien crowd, like British crowd. Very few Indians were in the crowd that day, and it was a very huge confidence booster that we could sell out an auditorium like that. That was one thing. And the second time I performed in Alchemy Festival was a more memorable one because that day something very beautiful happened that kind of made me believe that audiences are far more kind than we artists imagine them to be. When I landed in London few like a week before the concert, I suffered laryngitis attack. So by the time I was going through the sound check, I could barely speak, and I still remember telling Judy, the director of Queen Elizabeth Hall, Southbank Centre, saying, "Judy, I don't think I can sing today. I mean, my voice is gone. Should we cancel the show?" That was the first time in my entire life I've asked an organizer, "Is it okay to cancel the show?" And she said, "Raghu, don't worry about anything. You just go on stage and start performing, and however long you can. And if you can't perform, stop the show. I will take care of the audience. I'll take care of the rest." And with that encouragement, I went on stage, and I honestly confess that my throat was not good. And I said, I will take one song at a time and see how far I can go. And it was during the third song. It was a song called No Man Will Ever Love You Like I Do, which is a favorite song in the UK of ours. And just about before I could take the high note of the chorus, I could not sing. My voice just stopped. Just air came out, no voice. And very disappointedly, I stopped and I apologized to the audience. I was expecting there'll be a ruckus at the box office. They'll go back asking for demand for tickets. But instead, everybody just stood and clapped for about 2 minutes nonstop. And I ended up crying on stage. I remember, I mean, that was incredibly kind of an audience to understand that an artist is going through a medical issue and therefore he's not able to perform his best or not perform at all in this case. And not one person went to the box office demanding for a ticket. In fact, a lot of people left very kind messages on Facebook and Twitter around that time. Facebook was very good. So anyway, so I got a lot of messages saying, get well soon. I hope to see you next time, next year, in better health and stuff like that. So since then, I've always believed that as long as you're honest in front of an audience, the audience is always kind to you. So Queen Elizabeth Hall is not just a great performing venue, but also for me a, a hall of great significance because it taught me this lesson for life. It is the loop that happens. Uh, I give something and the audience receives it, and the audience gives it back twice the size, and I receive that and I give back twice more size. So there's a loop of increasing communication, connection, exchange of energies between the two. When I make them sing, when I make them dance, they are so happy. I see that laughing, smiling faces. And for me, they make me smile even bigger in my heart when I see that happening, with that an audience is enjoying or connected to what I'm singing about. That is that's the most beautiful thing. It's the no amount of great music being made in studio can match that. That instant gratification that happens by seeing an audience responding to what you're performing is why going on stage for most performers is such a high. Like so many shows we go and do, sometimes there is no money, sometimes there's bad sound, there is no rest, you have not slept for too many nights, and every day you're traveling, you've rehearsed so much, you're tired, you're fatigued. But then when you go on stage and you see this audience responding, everything is forgotten and everything seems to be, suddenly sums up to become all the zeros of your life suddenly becomes a sum of infinity when you see a happy audience. And I think that for me is the biggest takeaway for being a performer. I think I'm incredibly blessed to be able to be there and experience that. A lot of our new material which is released, like the previous album Shakkar is as brand as new because we've not performed much of those songs in UK at all. Though we launched the album in UK at U2, what is that, O2 Arena, Shepherd's Bush, 2 years ago. But this time, this audience will get to see the new songs for sure, and some of the new unreleased material that we have. And there are must-do songs. If we don't perform, we might get stoned to death. So we will perform those songs too. Hmm. There are two, three reasons to it. One is that it is presented in a globally acceptable form. of music. Uh, Everyone around the world is familiar with a guitar and a drum and a bass kind of an instrument arrangement. Immediately, like there is element of bit of rock, there is a bit of Afro rhythms, there's a bit of Latin music. Uh, so when you bring so many worlds together, there is a little bit of every part of the world that will recognize, hey, this sounds like my music or my kind of music. And so there is a musical style which brings the whole world together itself within our music. So everybody around the world will have something to identify with. One. Second thing is that all my songs are philosophical mostly. The very few love songs I've written. Most songs carry messages that for a fact that it's a mission that I have. The reason why I go on stage is to make people believe and put back the faith in people that they're strong enough to deal with life. So people who are going through a tough time should, if they come to my concert, they should go back thinking, oh, okay, so my life is not all that bad. I can deal with this. If they get that much confidence in life, I think my goal to go on stage is kind of reached. I've achieved the goal of being on stage. But at the same time, uh, I take great pride in explaining every song that I'm singing, whether it's in Hindi or Kannada or any other language. If a person who doesn't understand that language is sitting in my audience will know what I'm singing about because I've explained the entire story behind each song. I take great pride in talking to my audience and building that relationship where language doesn't matter. And once I've explained the meaning of the song, I have had British people coming and hugging and crying as saying, oh, I used to feel so bad about my life. Today I'm feeling so happy. I'm so glad that I found this message in your saints' poetries. So the poetry that is written by, say, Kabir or Shishnala Sharifa that I sing in front of an audience carry messages which are far more relevant today than when probably they were written many centuries ago. So when people relate to these songs because they understand what I have explained to them, they connect at a very different level. So I think those are the three reasons. And also I'm good looking. Maybe that's why also it helps.
Truth.
Ah, I don't think music has changed. Of course, we have improved a lot by practicing more and more. Uh, but the reason why I go on stage has changed over the years. Maybe initial years was to become popular, have fans and friends, have followers and make money and become famous and be written about in magazines and newspapers. And there's a certain high about uh, being popular. Maybe I was chasing that, but uh, post COVID, mm, and COVID gave a lot of time for me to realign myself as to why I should be going on stage because mm, I saw so much of misery during COVID, and uh, suddenly that chase of popularity, everything died during COVID for me, and I realized that my music has far more important purpose of bringing people together to melt the barriers that they have built around themselves, what divides them. Like, for example, nobody in a concert will say, "Oh, I'm from this race and he's lesser," or "I'm rich and he's poor," or anything like that. In a concert hall, everyone, the humanity comes together as one. And for me, to bring people and make them forget their differences and they are all singing together as one people, they're all smiling the same smiles, they're all feeling the same energy, same vibe. uh, and also when people write to me saying, I was going through this tough time, but when I heard you sing this song and you explain the meaning of this song, I now believe that I can I can get out of this situation. Thanks for the inspiration or strengths that I found in myself. So for me, those are the reasons why I go on stage now, and that has changed, and therefore I see a lot of change in the way the audience is also reacting to me, and how much they love me, and the amount of love I receive now is almost 10 times more than what it used to be before COVID. That's because the purpose has changed, and people are probably getting connected to that honesty also in the approach that I have now towards my own music. Probably I perform with far more intent today, and I mean every word when I sing, and I know the weight of every word that I'm singing today more than ever before. And I think that's what happens with age. You become mature. You've seen some life. You've seen some of the lowest lows, and you have been betrayed. You've been hurt. You've been broken, and then you rebuild your life, and you life teaches you all these lessons. And those lessons is what comes out through my songs now, and people accept that. I think that's what has changed now. Oh, a lot of festivals. Like the first festival we ever performed in London was in 2010 or 9. It was called Love Box in Victoria Park. And when we went on stage, it was the first time we ever traveled to UK. We were not known anywhere in UK whatsoever. So the least known bands are given the last smallest stage and the afternoon slot. So 2 p.m. is our slot to go on stage, and we went on this small third stage, and there was just one lady with an umbrella and a child clinging onto her legs standing in the field. And I went on stage and I said to myself, did I spend so much money to come and perform here for just one lady and a child? But anyway, the clock was running, so we have to start. We started and said to ourselves, we just have to do what we have to do. And we performed, and slowly from different stages that were there, people started coming to our stage running fast. By the end of that particular set, we had about 3,500 people dancing and singing along with us. For me, that memory was like that particular incident is like a reaffirmation of my belief that my music will be loved from any part of the world. So from then onwards, it just became a stronger conviction to reach out to global audiences, taking my music, my culture with it, my language with it, my poetry of my land with my music to audiences which would have otherwise never experienced this. I take great pride to take my India to the rest of the world through my music. So for me, Love Box is one of those very memorable concerts. The other memorable concert was in Mysore Palace, in front of the palace. The Queen of Mysore invited me to perform for the 100th year commemoration of Jaichamarajendra Wadiyar, the King of Mysore, yesterday. And Jaichamarajendra Wadiyar was very well known for writing Carnatic compositions in praise of Lord Goddess Chamundeshwari. So he had written about 100 songs, which she had compiled into a book, and it was getting released that day. And she had invited me to perform for that evening. And for that concert, I invited my mother and also my dance teacher. And when I introduced my mother to the queen, she said, "Why don't you guys sit down with next to me?" So right in the center of like in front of the palace, I had three mothers sitting in front of me and watching me perform. My dance teacher, my own mother, and the Queen of Mysore, who is also like my mother. I think that was one of the most beautiful experiences for me, performing in front of my home city crowd, audiences who have seen me grow, uh, and also at the same time, all the mothers who have shaped my life. So it is still one of the beautiful memories that I carry. I'm very impressed with the younger lot because they are able to understand internet, understand social media, and exploit it to their best of their abilities. When I started music, there was no internet. Having a telephone at home, a dial phone was a great thing. Uh, so when I started, that was the thing. So for me to adapt to social media marketing and putting up reels every day is a pain. Whereas these young kids who have just written 2 songs or 3 songs are creating virality of their music. Um, so they have been able to use the internet to reach to the audiences directly without any middlemen. And of course, now the algorithm itself has become the middleman, but it's it's something that I'm trying to learn and adapt to, and catch up with the younger generation. But Indian independent music scene has definitely become far more diverse. More and more bands are taking pride in singing in their mother tongue. Uh, when I started music, singing English songs the way the original band has performed was considered as the cool thing, you know. But now it's not like that. If you write an original song in your own mother tongue and sing it on stage, people really appreciate you for that. So that listening culture has also changed, and also the attitude of musicians have changed towards their own mother tongue, their own poetry, their own culture. uh, like from Kerala, there are so many. Like Avial was the first
Yes.
band which did that, you know, taking Malayalam poetry and Malayalam songs with rock background and very proudly saying we are a Malayali band, you know. And now, of course, Thaikudam Bridge is doing that job, and so many other bands. Like for me, Job Kurian is
Aham.
my most favorite musician that way,
Aham
because
is
he's,
also one of my favorite.
yeah, I think Agam is also, yes, of course. But I feel Job Kurian is very sincere with his music. He's just like the person he is, you know. He's very honest, very sincere. I find that sincerity a lot more in musicians today than it was when during many years ago. Maybe everyone in my time, being pretentious was the most coveted thing. Today, being honest, being sincere to who you are, and presenting your vulnerability or your culture on stage is really beautiful to see that happening. That is the change I see now. I don't think anything else keeps me alive. Actually, it's like it's become a way of life. I wake up in the morning, I have a tune in my head. I brush my teeth. I have a bath. I'm singing songs. I'm uh, probably helping my wife cook something. We are both singing. My wife is an amazing, acclaimed singer. She was nominated for Grammys couple of years ago with Jacob Collier. She collaborated with a British musician again. Uh, so there's music always, all the time. Like whether you are doing your normal chores or you're actually creating music, that is the way of life at home. So there is no. Uh, I mean, we love movies, we love reading books, we love traveling, etc., etc. But without music, none of these is possible. You need music to travel. You need music to cook. You need music to read a book. In the background, there will be some jazz CD being playing, and we are reading a book together. So for me, uh, it has been both my what do I say, my voice, my expression. Uh, I'm very happy with the fact that I'm not wasting my breath. Every breath I
Mm.
take is being used to sing, and you know, healing people, making people happy, entertaining people. Uh, why would I even stop this, despite making so many years of music? It is only getting better, and I feel my journey has started only now. Now the real purpose of my music has started. So I feel all these years were preparation, learning, practicing, becoming a better musician. But now I feel I've also become a better human being. I'm probably more kind and compassionate and more patient with people. Earlier I used to be one fireball. I used to be. Now I'm more calm. I understand life. I understand people's pain. uh, Earlier it probably was a very selfish journey, but now I want to take everyone along with me, you know. So it's become more beautiful as a journey. So I think my journey has started now. I'm enjoying it probably the most now than ever before. I hope they'll remember the words I've spoken about each of those songs, and probably will go back home saying, अपना रघु गाया था, बहुत अच्छा गाया था वो, उसने ये बोला था, मेरे को याद है. When something else happens in their life, they'll remember this song, this particular words that I've spoken, and say, "Oh, this guy told me now. Maybe this is the direction I should take life." You know, and if that happens, perfect. My mission is accomplished.